everyone, it's Jen, the board game librarian, and I'm joined by Matt, the dice chucker.
Hi, everybody.
Hello! That was really high pitch.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are here with another installment of Rate the Collection, a fine series where we rate all the games in our collection from numbers to Z. And we're doing H today, correct, Matt?
H. We have 12 games in H that we're going to be talking about today. So we'll actually give you our full opinions on them instead of rushing through some of them.
Yes, it's a shorter list than I thought it was going to be. And I'm already looking at number 12 and thinking that you should be the one to talk about number 12.
Probably.
Probably. So if you want to do two in a row.
Sure.
All right, folks. Are you ready? Strap in.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Number 12 is a game that I had bought years ago. And all the pieces just kind of got strewn around my parents' house when I was a kid. I couldn't find any of the figures. And I was kind of disappointed. Number 12 is Heroscape. This is a game that you build the whole board. You have these figures and you're moving around and you're trying to get points by eliminating other figures. No one ever played with me as a kid, so I was just kind of doing my own thing, and that's how all the pieces got spread out. And eventually I just got tired of trying to find them when I was older, and I found it in a comic book shop for a really good price. This is the Rise of the Valkyrie starter, I think it's called.
Okay.
So this is Heroscape. It sits at a 7.625. Why is that, Jen?
I don't like it.
Yeah, Jen's not a huge fan.
Every time we go to rate games and we get to this and I'm like, do you really want me to rate a man? Because okay, first of all, it's been forever since we have played this.
That's true.
And we could play it again.
I don't think it's going to change anything.
I
really don't think it's going to change anything.
Well, you never know.
Because every complaint you made was valid.
What were my complaints?
It's too simplistic, and it definitely shows its age.
Okay.
Now, granted, I've only ever played with the original base set, so I have no idea what the expansions added. I don't even want to talk about the Magic the Gathering thing. That was just kind of like... Can we swear on this channel?
It was an abomination?
It was a half-assed job.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Go ahead and hate me, Wizards of the Coast. You half-assed it. All right?
Woo. Last time we said, are we rated G? Well, I guess we are not rated G, folks. So we'll have to put that in the comments.
It was so sad to see what happened to Heroscape because Magic the Gathering has so much that it could have done with Heroscape, and it was just here's a bunch of here's a board and here's like 5 or 6 tiles lying around we happen to have from Heroscape.
The terrain on Heroscape is interesting. And I think we have that dragon around that our friend doesn't that dragon go to it?
It does.
Okay.
I can never understand. Once you throw the insert out, which I guess you shouldn't do, I can't fit the dragon back in the box. I don't know what's going on. I keep trying and nothing I do makes it fit in the box.
So folks, if you have any comments on how to get this dragon back in the box...
Doesn't matter, I'm giving it away because you hate it so much.
No, we'll try it.
I already told them I'm giving it to them because you hate it so much.
Okay, well, that is that. Any wifey points I had gained from Go... And the purchasing...
There's no points or anything.
They're gone! Gone! Alright, well, that's number 12.
So, number 11. I'm doing the odds, but Jen really didn't want to talk about Heroscape. Number 11.
It's more appropriate for you to talk about it, because you like it so much more, and I don't know what I would have even said about it.
Gotcha. Okay, so number 11 is Happy Salmon. This is by North Star Games.
Yes.
I don't know the designer.
I don't know either.
This is a 7.625. This is chaos in 4 minutes, 5 minutes. A great convention game. You have a deck of cards, and you flip the first card over, and you start doing what it says on the card. And as soon as you match someone else at the table, you throw the card down and do the action. Like if it's a high five, the high five, the Happy Salmon, which is just Can't remember what else it was. Switch. Sometimes there's switch. You have to run around the table to get to the other portion of the table. It's chaos. It's fun. We played it at a bar, and one guy came over and said, "I gotta get in on this," because it was Jenga. He goes, "Show me how to play this one."
Yeah.
It was just a blast.
Yeah, Happy Salmon is amazing. I love it. It brings me joy and laughter, happiness in my life. You could teach Happy Salmon to a 5-year-old. You could teach it to a 95-year-old. It's just, you're screaming. You're just trying to, it's like Matt said, it's chaos. You're screaming. At the end of 5 minutes, your throat is like sore from screaming, high five, high five, high five, and trying to get a match, and then just doing the things.
Sometimes if you can't get a match and you're just tired of shouting high five or Happy Salmon, you can put it on the bottom of your deck and go to the next one. And of course, when you do that, someone else over the corner says high five, and you're just like...
So yeah, Happy Salmon is great. Number 10 is Herbaceous Sprouts, 7.75. Pencil First Games. This is Stephen Ed Baroff, Beth Sobel artwork, I believe. And it is delightful. Rolling dice, chucking dice, where you are still looking to do the things that you are doing in the original Herbaceous Sprouts, but instead of collecting the cards, you are collecting the icons instead and trading them in on the board. Love chucking the dice. It's a very sweet game, I think.
It actually has one of the better dummy players as a mechanic in a 2-player style game, because you have to draft cards based on the dice that are rolled. The card that's not drafted has a little symbol on the bottom. What you do is you take the dummy player's weeds, I think, and you put it in the spot on the board so no one can get to it.
Yeah.
It was a nice little thing, but it meant the world that it wasn't a dummy player that had to be set up with 15 different things. And
Yes.
Number 9 is Hanamikoji. This is Emperor S4 game. Hanamikoji is a great game. You're trying to play cards to gain favor of, I think it's 6 or 7 geishas on the board.
Yeah, there's...
And you have these, yeah.
It's like an area of control.
And you have these 4 actions that you can do. And one of them's like, separate your hand 2 by 2, give 1 to the other player, the other player gives 1 to you. One of them is just pick 1
out of the
3. Reserve a card for later, and it's really interesting back and forth between the 4 actions you're allowed to take. I do think it's really a pleasant game. This is a 7.75. I'm not sure if I said that earlier.
I have a particular fondness for the artwork since my background in college, my thesis was on Japanese history. So I love the theme on this, and I think it's a really good 2-player game. Very clever card play. We've played it a huge amount of times, and it's portable too, that you can play it on...
We have it in one of those quivers now.
We do. In a travel situation, or if you're at a bar or at a restaurant with family, you could definitely bring it along with you. I'm even, so I'm going to talk about Homebrewers by Greater Than Games, I believe. This is a 7.875. Pretty high numbers on this list. Yeah, nothing terribly low. We had gotten a demo of this at Gen Con in 2019, I believe.
Yep.
And it was the first in the kind of beer set to the Greater Than...
The last one.
Yeah, it was the first one that we had played.
Oh, first one we played, okay.
And I like this best of 2 players, actually.
Yeah, we've played it with 4, and it was so boring.
It was very long. So I was maybe the first time, too, that one of the ingredients is oysters, and I think you and I looked at each other, and we were like...
And I had never seen it before, and we finally went to a brewery in Cape Cod, and they had oyster beer, and I still went...
Yeah, so it's like a Rhode Island and Massachusetts thing, I guess.
Being vegetarian, though, I mean, we're not going to have it anyway.
Just, again, if you've had oyster beer and you love it, let me know why you love it below. I like it. I like the variety of characters that you can play. I like that it's equal males and females. It's a pretty diverse cast of people as well, too. And I think it's the only, like, big beer, well, Heaven and Ale. Okay. Which is on this list. So.
Don't spoil it. It's coming up.
What would you like to say about Homebrewers, Matt?
Really nice dice mechanics. I think it's got a really great aesthetic, too. It's got, like, that faux chalkboard look to it that a lot of microbreweries have. It understands its theme, and it hits it out of the park, you know? Yeah. Even though you're rolling dice, there are ways to mitigate those dice, and there's really a lot of cool things you can do as far as what you're doing. Yeah. Number 7 is Harry Potter Death Eaters Rising, and this is at an 8. No spoiler here. Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle is not on the list. Hogwarts Battle was great in the base box. You moved through the 7 stories, and then you got through it, and you're like, great. And then the expansion came out, and I guess they heard that so many people weren't happy that it was too easy, and so they threw it into overdrive, and we couldn't even get past the first box with the way you were set up, and it was like, hey, do you want to try to get things done while you're in school? Yeah, I want to get things done. F, you know?
Yeah.
That's how it really felt, because you're just getting slapped around so much, and I was disappointed because I liked Hogwarts Battle as it was, and then you added the expansions. Not so good. But then we got Death Eaters Rising. This was the first Rising game we had played. Yes. I had played. Had you played Thanos earlier?
I had not.
Okay. No. Really like the system. We own 4 of the Rising games now.
Oh, they used to be right back here. They're not anymore.
They're kind of spread out. No, they're right there.
They're over there.
We have Star Wars, Batman, Harry Potter, and SpongeBob. So we like the system. There's a little something different for everyone. With the Harry Potter one, what seemed different was even if you had just one symbol at the end, you could use it. I don't know if that was new to Harry Potter or what. There also seemed to be different colored dice. Of course, there's different colored dice, but it seemed to be that there were more options for the dice in this one. Like on your starting teams in every other Rising game we've played, you get 3 red and 1 special, or 2 red in SpongeBob's case and 1 special. Harry Potter, you got 3 different colored dice right off the bat, and that gave you more options out there to try and get things. But this also introduced that you actually, with Thanos Rising, you just had to defeat enemies. With Harry Potter, you had to kill Voldemort, and he's somewhere in the deck, so you just can't sit there and watch the enemies and you try to get allies. You're eventually going to have to get to Voldemort to win.
Right.
And you can only damage Voldemort by how many enemies you defeated. So if you get to him and you've only defeated 1 enemy, you can damage Voldemort once, but then you have to wait to damage him again until you defeat more enemies. So I thought that was really cool. That's what makes this one kind of stand out a little bit for me.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say about this. I very much enjoy it. We've talked about which one is our favorite in the series, and this is not our favorite in the series necessarily. There's definitely been a progression in the Rising games, but I qualify. It's the only Harry Potter game that we own anymore. So,
while it may not be our favorite, I did get a chance to play Thanos Rising eventually, and there definitely was a progression in how they had designed it. So, while it may not be our favorite, it's definitely an advance on Thanos Rising. And if you haven't checked out the Rising system, do yourself a favor.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially since SpongeBob's out there, man. That game's hilarious.
Number 6 is Heaven and Ale. I think it's Eggertspiele. Yes, yep. That it publishes it, and it's an 8.125. Very much enjoy this one. I feel like we are pretty evenly matched on who wins it. The kind of going along on the track essentially is what you're doing, and how you plan, how tight money is. I really enjoy this. We have not played with the expansion.
I don't think the expansion's been available in the US yet.
Okay. We've heard mixed things on the expansion.
That's putting it nicely.
That's putting it nicely. But a very solid middleweight Euro game of collecting resources.
I do think this is one of Kiesling's best designs.
Oh, okay. Why?
It's hard to describe. It just seems so elegant. You know, the whole, you're moving along the track, but you can't move backwards, so you better make sure that when you get to where you want to go, that's where you really want to be.
Yeah.
Plus trying to make beer and make money on the two sides of your farm.
Right.
And then trying to go up the tracks, because you can do everything you want to do. You may never make a single barrel of beer in the whole game.
Yeah.
Which can really mess up your scoring.
Yeah, the tiling aspect is interesting, and it's one of those ones where you don't know how many points you have until the very end. For sure. So that's what I have to say about... You definitely have to collect the monks.
They all look a little tipsy. I think it's hilarious.
They do. One of them definitely has like a Martin Luther vibe going on.
It's true, yeah.
So, yeah, it could be very themeless. If you took the monks making ale out of it, it would be something else.
Yeah.
But definitely one of the most uniquely themed games. And the artwork is spot on.
Yeah, it's got that nice stained glass feel to it.
Yeah.
Number 5 is High Heavens at an 8.125. I feel like this game slides under the radar a lot, and this is a game where you're playing as one of the pantheons trying to destroy the other pantheon. You do this by either destroying their home base, which is either... There's 3 factions. There's the Greeks, the Norse, and the Egyptians. Mm-hmm. And if you destroy their... I think it's Olympus, Asgard, and...
Other things.
I can't remember the name.
Wow, we just are not full of remembering.
We're going to put it right here.
No, and I'm not doing that.
Anyway, you're doing this by playing cards, and you have these miniatures, and under the miniature there's these stack of tokens. And the red tokens are wound tokens, and then you have armor, you have like extra weapons, sometimes there's poison, and you're sliding them around, and you're hitting each other with both cards and abilities on your minis. And you only have 3 actions a turn, and this was the first game that I played that you had these 3 tokens and for your action. So you take your first action, and then you'd flip that token to the other side of the board. So it was a great way to keep track of your actions. But what else was neat about this one is, if you wanted to bring out a god, and there weren't enough wound tokens, you could still bring out that god, but that god's not going to come out at full health. And the only way to get more is to play cards that give it to you. You know, oh look, I can put those under them now. No, that's not the case. You really have to wait.
The game is like super clever. There's no dice rolling, correct? No. So for people who don't like head-to-head combat games because of the dicing, there's 0 dice. It's all card-based.
Keep going.
And I think the clever part really is the tokens that Matt was talking about, the rings, where you put your god and they're piled on top of, 10 moons. And you can see as they're kind of sliding along in this hex formation on the map how exactly much they're looking for. What are you doing over there? Are you looking at the names of places?
Yeah. So the Egyptian one is Komunu. I just wanted to make sure I got that in there.
Oh, now you know, folks. You've learned. This is your Snapple fact of the day. The miniatures on them are pretty decent.
Yeah.
The mat is also pretty nice.
Yeah, and it's great that it's a mat, because when you're sliding
them, a lot.
I'm sure they would get caught on the edges of things, and then you'd have scuffs all over it.
On actual tiles. Yeah, I can't imagine that happening. So this was their first game, I believe. Their second game was Streets of Steel. Small company out of Providence, Rhode Island.
Wild Power.
And we had encountered this game at PAX U. Matt came around the corner. I was talking to someone, and he's like, you gotta see this game.
No. There was
all stuff for this game.
There was 1 copy left on Sunday night. It was like 20 minutes.
FOMO here,
well, it
people.
was 20 minutes before the convention shut down. And if you've been to PAX U, they're not they don't tiptoe around it. It's closing time.
No, the enforcers come along in a line, and you are out.
So I bought the whole thing after getting a quick demo, and I was like, I really like this game.
Yeah, I should say, most of the time when Matt has a feeling about really liking something, then he is correct. I love you. You are correct. My radar is not always as good on things. I see you, Saloon Tycoon, and I raise you one. They're coming out with the second edition. Oh.
Maybe they'll fix some of the problems.
So yeah, this was a really good map purchase at PAX U 2017.
2017. It was its first time, yeah.
Yeah, big recommend on this one. I feel like I talk about it a lot, from Favorite Game Friday to other pictures, but if you like 2-player head-to-head...
And if you love mythology...
Yeah, lots
right
of mythology.
Up there.
Number 4 is Hero Realms from White Wizard Games, 8.25. This was another map purchase. Deck building, which I love, because it's shopping the board game. Hello, you go shopping with all your points, and then the head-to-head combat as well.
You go shopping, and then you get to slap each other around. Is that what you're saying?
We go shopping, and then I get to slap you around. Because I kick your you-know-what
I don't think I've won a single game of Hero Realms.
I think.
That's because we teamed up against 2 other people. We played the 4-player game, and I was like, so this is what it feels like to win Hero Realms.
This is accurate. Not so much with Shards of Infinity. That one it's the reverse. But Hero Realms, I totally took us.
Yeah, this is our favorite of that style. Cthulhu Realms was okay, but the symbology on it was so heavy we felt like we had to relearn it every time. And Star Realms was fine. They had the different type of health counters that... are you yawning at the game, or because you're just yawning?
I'm yawning.
And I think the sci-fi theme for us wasn't doing anything, but Hero Realms we really enjoyed.
Yeah, we've bought lots of things.
You have the big chest for it.
For Hero Realms, and I still continue to whoop your...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's specifically a 2-player game or 2 or 4. But I think they might be coming out with a Kickstarter sometime this year for more things.
But this is not my favorite current White Wizard game.
Oh, okay.
It's a way down. I'm going to say it's probably Sorcerer right now, but there's another game coming from them that I do like much more than Sorcerer.
Oh, yes. So Hero Realms, if you like deck building and head-to-head deck building games, you'll like this a lot. I mean, it's generic fantasy too, but the add-on packs gave you more things, more personalization.
Instead of the standard deck, you could actually bring in like clerics, and once again another one where it was male and female. You could flip it on either side, and the artwork, as far as fantasy goes, is very well done and tastefully done. Oh, number 3.
This is very appropriate for you to talk about as well, too. We plan this out so nice. I love it when that happens.
So number 3 is... I got a long story with this. I always do.
Are you strapped in, folks? We warned you.
I was so disappointed when the reviews for Jungle Cruise started coming out. And then I was like, oh no. Because they had just announced Haunted Mansion, Call of the Spirits. And to hear that Jungle Cruise was a roll and move style game, I was like, oh no, what's going to happen to the Haunted Mansion?
Yep.
And I know there's other layers of Jungle Cruise, but
it's definitely a family game, and that's fine. But we said this before: if you love Disney and you love the Jungle Cruise, and you're not a gamer but you're at Disney and you see this Jungle Cruise game, and that's your gateway into the hobby,
you're gonna love it. So number 3 is, and this is a title issue. Number 3 is Disney's The Haunted Mansion: Call of the Spirit. This should have been in the D list, but it's an H game. There we go. Now the reason I love this, and it's an 8.375. We both love set collection. What you do is you have the hitchhiking ghosts kind of move around the board. They haunt you if you're in the region, if they pass through the region you're in. If you if they land on the region you're in, you're double haunted. And then ghosts come out, and you are using actions to pick up those ghosts. And sometimes you have like special abilities that pop up for the round. And I love that the board is actually proper to the ride. So once you get into your dune buggy in the ride, and you actually look at the board, you actually are going in the way of how the ride moves. And I think that's a great attention to detail that they put in here. The board is very colorful. The art is great. And some people may say, well, it's just a set collection game. But if you think about the purpose of this game, this is being sold in a theme park. Modern board game.
Target.
Designer board game in a theme park. Just kind of wrap your head around that. And you'll see that even though it's a simple game, it really is a service to our industry to have it reach kind of that echelon of being put into a place like Disney World and Disneyland.
Yeah, I like it a lot. There's an organist card. There's a musician organist card, so of course.
You steal it from me.
I do. Maybe sometimes. Partially. Yeah, you know, I'm not as up into Haunted Mansion lore as Matt is. He's a Haunted Mansion nut. He got his picture done with one of those where it's your normal face, and then it's like the Haunted Mansion version of it.
It's one of those fancy painting things with the Haunted Mansion.
I did a paint on a wood thing for Matt for Father's Day from the cats. It's a Haunted Mansion thing. He has a book on it. He's into it, folks.
Yeah.
So for him, like, he's so into the theme on it, and I do really like Haunted Mansion too. But
don't write Haunted Mansion with me.
Not the movie. But
don't, because I'll talk louder than the ghost hosts and point out all the details and cool things. I think you wanted to ride alone the last time we were
get my
there.
own buggy, man. So, you know, there's a theme for everyone, right? So, again, if that's what brings you into the hobby, then who cares? It's amazing. The more, the better. So speaking of the more, the better, if you are a classic Monsters fan, you're going to love Horrified. Again, another Prospero Hall design, 2 in a row. Ravensburger, cooperative game where you are a group of people and you are looking to defeat a variety of the Universal classic monsters.
Talk about perfect graphic design on this one.
Yes.
You opened it and it has that silent movie font on the board about how you've been warned about going into this, and there's the Mummy, there's Dracula, there's Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, there's Wolfman, the Invisible Man, the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, it's something that, like, Matt's dad, who's a fan of this stuff, we can maybe get him to play it. So, again...
8.5, by the way.
Yeah, 8.5, sorry. I just think it's probably the best of what they have done. We haven't rated Pan Am. We've only played Pan Am once.
I like Horrified, but I love Jaws.
Oh, Jaws.
I do.
There's Jaws, too. So, it's, yeah, I mean, from the cards to the artwork to the board, it just...
It's a great cooperative game.
It is a great cooperative game.
Introductory cooperative game.
But it's punishing, too.
Yeah. Because of the theme, I do tend to recommend Horrified over Pandemic for beginner gamers.
Yeah.
Because they know Dracula. They know Frankenstein. It's...
And it's not quite as real as
Right.
Pandemic?
It's not quite as real as Pandemic. But it's great. It's really simple, too. It's not like it's too heavy.
No, it's not. But you can, of course, ramp up the difficulty, Matt, in terms of how many monsters you add. I came in downstairs one time and he had set it up and it was like
I played a solo game with all 7 monsters out there. We didn't last long.
Oh, of course, no, because... Yeah. We've gotten 3 monsters and I keep saying to Matt, can't we just go back to 2 and we'll beat it and I'll feel really good about myself? Because how often do you win in a cooperative game?
Number one is a game that I was hesitant on at first, and I love when this happens. We had played The Gallerist.
Oh, I was all in on this. This is the one I was all in.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had played The Gallerist, and I wasn't a huge fan of the follow action, because I felt like, okay, is it my turn? No, not yet. All right. Well, is it my turn now? No. Okay. It feels like it's my turn, but everyone else is going during my turn. But when we got a chance to play Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, the follow mechanic was so elegant. This is an 8.625 Scott Alm's design. We own all the stuff except the playmat. So I had posted a picture on Instagram about Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, and a friend of mine commented, it's been really great to see Scott Alms grow as a designer. And I was like, wait, is that a joke? Because he's got all the tiny epic games, and then Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea exploded.
Yeah, I do wonder if it is a joke that he designed this as big game. We've played this at 3. We have mostly played it at 2.
I love it at 2.
I really love it at 2. I mean, if you listen to a lot of people, the only way they'll play it is at the big, full 6 or 7 players, which I'd love to do sometime, just to see how it goes. And I want to play with Roy. Talking to you, Roy. I want in. Just to see all of the different classes going on and different things. We hardly ever use the flying ships. That's something I feel like we never use.
Because in a 2-player game, if you can really ramp it up where you can run out there and get the towers out that you need, and you can end the game before people can really snag points.
Yeah, like 2 hours we've done this in, I think.
Yeah. I did a 4-player game at the store one time, and it was still about 2 hours, because we all agreed, because there's that rule when somebody clicks in the end game, right? That then everyone gets to take another turn. We all agreed that we wouldn't take any longer than, I believe, 10 minutes for our turn, and people were able to cut that down even further.
Yeah, and that last turn I've heard can be a real beast. I just really enjoy this.
Yeah.
It's, I think, one of the few 4X games that we have in our collection.
The nice thing is everything makes sense.
No, Daddy, take it away.
So everything kind of makes sense, when you do something and there's follow actions for it. You're not like, wait, how does that work? Because once you're told how it works, it really is kind of straightforward. And whenever we have a question, we have our little TV down here and we Chromecast, watch it played.
Yeah.
Answer the question.
Yeah, the follow mechanic is definitely not as easy as Reavers of Midgard. That to me is like the
Reavers is the easiest follow mechanic because it's right there on the board how you do it.
Yeah, super simple. But this is the next easiest.
Yeah.
Big game, big table game, big hog. I just really enjoy it.
Yeah. So those are our H games. Tell us what we missed, and then I'll tell you why it was missed.
Oh, spicy Matt.
I'm looking at you, Harry Potter, Defense Against the Dark Arts class. Why are there unforgivable curses in a classroom?
Yeah, that's ooh.
Why?
Again. So we're still chugging along. We appreciate all of your comments, your likes, and your support. And just keep it going. And I'm gonna get a tail on my mouth right now. So we will see you next time, folks. I'm Jen.
I'm Matt.
And we're the Literary Gamers. Toodaloo.
We're the Literary Gamers. I just said, we're the Literary Gamers.
Gamers.